I have made over 100 Big Brother videos at this point. Each one has had about 2,500 words in them, so that means I have spoken roughly 250,000 words of Big Brother to you all. But if you ask me, there's only 3 words that actually matter. Helen was pushed. In a myriad of topics, Big Brother conspiracy theories have always intrigued me. Was Helen really pushed? Were the producers accidentally the reason that the saboteur went home first? There are so many questions, yet so few answers. So today, let's try and get to the bottom of some. Here are 5 of the most interesting Big Brother conspiracy theories.
It is the hardest competition yet, but my Big Brother life is on the line, so I'm staying on this plank for as long as it takes.
Helen,
bye guys, love you!
Helen, you are perfect!
So, let's start things off with a big one. The first conspiracy theory that we'll talk about today is the theory that production forced Porsche to open Pandora's box in Big Brother 13 in an attempt to keep both Jordan and Rachel safe. This is probably one of the most well-known and talked about conspiracy theories in all of Big Brother, and for good reason. It was at the final 6 of Big Brother 13, and Porsche had won the HOH. Porsche's 2 targets were the last 2 remaining veterans in the house, Rachel and Jordan, and given Porsche's position, she had the power to guarantee that one of them went home. But Pandora's box was presented to Porsche, which she accepted, and the consequence was that the duo's twist would come back into the game. Rachel and Jordan then became a duo, and once Rachel won the veto, Rachel was able to take both herself and Jordan off the block, keeping them both safe in a week where one of them should have been guaranteed to be evicted. Already, it seemed a bit suspicious that the instant the last 2 remaining veterans were in danger, a twist that could save both of them was brought into the game, but it gets even more concerning once Porsche revealed on the live feeds that she was forced into opening the box. It's been stated that Porsche did not want to open Pandora's box when it was presented to her, but production wouldn't accept that as an answer. They kept Porsche up in the HOH room for hours and wouldn't leave her alone until she changed her mind and opened the box, which she eventually did, and that's what unleashed the duo's twist back into the house. Now, this is one that I definitely believe. Earlier in that day, Porsche said that she would not open Pandora's box for $10,000, so it's odd that she would have willingly opened the box when the incentive was $10,000. I really do believe that Porsche did not want to open Pandora's box, but the constant urging by the production team eventually led to her giving in. However, I don't think it was technically forced. The producers didn't physically grab Porsche's hand and make her open the door. They probably just pushed and pushed with their words until she gave in. It is entirely plausible that Porsche could have called production's bluff and just waited it out in the HOH room until they inevitably had to give up in order to continue running the show. Think of it like an unconventional endurance comp. If Porsche could outlast production, she could have gotten away with not opening the box, but it seems like she dropped out of this hypothetical endurance comp after only just an hour. Now, it's totally possible that there is more to the story than this, but this is just how I interpret things. So, while I don't think the theory that Porsche was forced to open Pandora's box is necessarily true, I definitely believe that production kept her in the HOH room and pushed for her to open it until she eventually did.
I win HOH! So now I get to make the decisions in the house. Yeah, me, the hostess with the mostest.
Can we go ahead and get evicted? Get this over with.
Jordan and I realized that there's no way that Jordan and I can even be in this game now together.
A few moments later.
Pandora's very tricky. It could mean something good or bad. I mean, hopefully good for me. Could it be something bad?
2 hours later.
All right, I'm going in. House guest, I have opened Pandora's box. In doing so, I have unleashed the duo twist back on the house for 1 week. Opening Pandora's box was the worst game move I've made so far. Now if I put up Rachel and Jordan and just one of them wins the veto, they're both safe. That's 1 newbie out, 2 veterans in. Oh no. Congratulations, Rachel. You won the power of veto.
Thank you. Since I have the power of veto, it gives me the power to remove us both from the chopping block. Game on, guys.
Up next, we have a pretty fun one, and that's the theory that in Big Brother 8, production didn't put Eric's name in the veto drawing bag due to him effectively not being allowed to use the veto. This is a really interesting one, and there is surprising merit to it. For some background information, Eric was America's player in Big Brother 8, which meant that he basically acted as a puppet for the fans throughout the season. Every determinate game action that Eric made was decided by America, whether it be who he should align with, who he should target, and who he should vote out. So following along with this standard, if Eric were to win the veto, then America would be the ones to decide if he would use it to save someone or not, right? Well, there's actually a bit of a dilemma here. The way that the week of Big Brother works is that typically an HOH is crowned on Thursday, nominations are made on Friday, the veto is played on Saturday, and the veto meeting is held on Monday. But the casual viewers, which made up the large majority of America's player voters, wouldn't know that Eric won the veto until the Tuesday episode aired. So it would be impossible for them to vote on whether or not Eric should use the veto without spoiling the episode ahead of time, as the veto meeting would have already taken place. The solution that the producers came up with was that if Eric won the veto, he just wouldn't be allowed to use it. And we even saw this take place when Eric won the veto at the final 7. He wanted to use the veto, but because there wasn't enough time to have the viewers vote on a decision, Eric was forced to leave the nominees the same. Now, I can see how the showrunners wouldn't want to be put in that position too often. So one way to try and limit the chances of this happening would be to try and have Eric play in as few veto competitions as possible. So the conspiracy theory is that the producers never put Eric's name in the veto drawing bag so that he would rarely be picked to play in the veto. I know it sounds silly, but based on the statistics, it's entirely possible that this is true. Throughout 8 veto draws, Eric's name was not drawn a single time. The odds of this happening is very low, and while it's not impossible, it's a little suspicious that Eric, of all players, was the one who never saw their name be drawn. Now, one thing going against this theory is that it would have been incredibly easy for the players to discover if Eric's name was not in the bag. All it would take would be one player dropping the bag and having all the names exposed, which would reveal that Eric's name was missing and raise a ton of questions that the Big Brother team would not want to answer. We even saw Frankie go through the veto bag in Big Brother 16 to ensure that his name was actually in there, so something similar easily could have happened here as well. So even though I find the whole situation quite suspicious, I feel that it would have been way too easy for the house guests to accidentally uncover the truth, so I'm gonna say that this conspiracy theory isn't all that likely.
So I haven't played in any of the Power of Vetoes yet, but now that I know about the mystery trip outside of the Big Brother house, I want to play badly. This is finally gonna be my week. Here it comes, it's me.
House guest choice. Jessica. Yeah! Zach. And Zach.
Yes!
House guest choice. Guess what? Lucky you, dude.
Congratulations, Eric. You have won the Power of Veto.
That's it. Welcome to the veto competitions, baby!
Oh my god, since Eric won the Power of Veto this time, that means there's a strong potential chance of backdooring Dick or Danielle in this game.
If he really cared and wanted to do exactly what I thought, he would use the power veto.
If Eric was the smart player, he would put Danielle up. This is a golden opportunity.
They say to expect the unexpected, and that is why I am choosing to not use the Power of Veto this week.
America, I know you guys wanted Amber nominated for the 2nd straight week, so I did not use the veto. Let's keep her up there, and now you have the choice to send her home if you'd like.
For the third conspiracy theory, we have one that I have only heard 1 or 2 people talk about. However, I think there's something solid here, and that's the theory that in week 1 of Big Brother 12, Hayden was tipped off to nominate Annie because production kept pushing him to not nominate her. To set the scene, it was week 1 of Big Brother 12. Hayden had won the HOH and was targeting the newly formed showmance of Brendan and Rachel, so he nominates them both for eviction. Brendan wins the veto to save himself, so Hayden naturally needs to pick a replacement nominee. One of the names that Hayden was tossing around was Annie, and this is where things get interesting. This was unknown to the other house guests, but Annie was actually the secret main twist of Big Brother 12. Annie was chosen to be the saboteur before the season began, and her role was to cause chaos and disrupt disrupt the flow of the house throughout the season. Obviously, the production team wouldn't want Annie to be the first houseguest evicted because they assuredly had weeks and weeks of sabotage planned for her to enact. So, the theory is that the producers would try to dissuade Hayden from nominating Annie whenever he brought it up in the diary room. However, these subtle hints that Hayden was receiving actually had the opposite effect. Because production was pushing for him to not nominate Annie, it tipped him off that something was up and that he probably should nominate her because of it. So, Hayden then goes ahead and nominates Annie as Brendan's replacement, and by the end of the week, Annie, the saboteur, became the first evicted houseguest of Big Brother 12. Now, how much of this do I believe? Well, I don't think this is a super far-fetched theory. Production obviously would want to keep Annie in the game, but they can't flat out say anything to the houseguest to try and keep her safe. So, the next best thing to do would be to subtly influence the HOH into maybe going in a different direction. However, I could definitely see the houseguest picking up on this, and I don't think it takes a genius to add up that something might be fishy with a certain player if the producers are trying to get you to keep her. So overall, I think that this theory has some merit, although I definitely don't think that it's like 100% confirmed.
I'm pretty pissed off right now. Brendan's got power in the house now. He's gonna pull himself off the block, no doubt about it. That leaves me wondering who I'm gonna put up to replace him. Everybody's pulling me in different directions, including people within the brigade. Enzo wants Annie. Lane thinks it might be a good idea to keep Annie around and put up Kathy. And I really don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Our replacement nominee is Annie. I'm sorry, Annie. I really am.
Oh no, I knew it was gonna happen. Lies weave evil webs.
Ooh, I'm so pissed. I'm pissed. I never thought week 1 people would be dumb enough to put somebody like me on the block.
By a vote of 10-0, Annie, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Hello, house guests. Hope you enjoyed my latest sabotage, but unfortunately, it's going to
be my last. That's right, guys. It's me.
Oh my God, Annie's a saboteur. I feel like a freaking king right now. You know, I'm the one that put her up. She's a saboteur and she's out of here. I love it.
Coming up next, we have a bit of a modern theory, and that's that the Wactivity comp powers in Big Brother 21 were actually just the unused power apps from Big Brother 20. If there's a theory that has the most validity to it, it's probably this one. In Big Brother 20, there were 5 power apps in the BB App Store that the most trending house guests could choose from. However, this was only offered 3 times, meaning that there would be 2 unchosen powers left over when all was said and done. These 2 powers ended up being the redraw power and the upgrade power. And what do you know, when Big Brother 21 rolls around and there are 3 new powers, 2 of them fit weirdly well with the leftover power apps. One power, the Chaos power, gave the holder the ability to have the veto chips redrawn if they weren't satisfied with the players chosen to play in the veto competition. That sounds exactly like what the description would be for the redraw power app. Then another power, the Panic power, gave the holder the ability to upgrade any week's golden power of veto into the diamond power of veto, which, yet again, sounds exactly like what the description could be for the upgrade power app. While I was browsing the Big Brother 21 wiki page, it even said that these 2 powers were the unchosen powers from the BB App Store, although there was no citation there, so that might not actually be 100% confirmed, but for me, this one is pretty much as close to a guarantee as you can get. So, I'll call it a true conspiracy theory.
Please browse the available power apps and make your selection.
Redraw, upgrade.
Congratulations on winning the Chaos Wactivity comp. You have now earned the Chaos power. This power allows you to force a new veto picking player's draw.
You have now earned the Panic power. This power will send everyone at the veto meeting into a panic because you now have the ability to turn the golden power of veto into the diamond power of veto.
And now, to end things off, we have the holy grail of Big Brother conspiracy theories, and quite possibly the greatest conspiracy theory of all humankind. Was Helen pushed in the Battle Bat competition in Big Brother 15? During the competition, the players had to stand on a small platform and catch softballs thrown at them without falling off. Helen was one of the participants trying to get back into the game. However, about 50 minutes into the competition, Helen fell off her pedestal and was eliminated. But there exists a conspiracy theory that Helen was actually pushed off of her pedestal by a member of production that was behind the competition structure, or at the very least, she was tapped on the foot as a signal for her to fall off. On the live feeds during the comp, you can see a member of production walking behind Helen just moments before she fell off. And to be fair, it did seem that Helen fell for seemingly no reason, which is probably what helped spark this theory in the first place. A possible explanation as to why production would want Helen to fall is that because of all the bad press Big Brother was receiving at the time, due to the racism and prejudices circulating inside the house, the production team didn't want Helen to re-enter the house, so they paid her off in order to avoid further controversies. So, with a reason that at least makes a tiny bit of sense, as well as the conspicuous footage of a production member walking behind Helen right before she mysteriously fell off, is it true that Helen was indeed pushed? Well, I hate to burst the fun bubble, but I highly doubt that this was true. For starters, I definitely don't think that she was pushed, and if this theory were to even be remotely true, I'd lean towards her being tapped on the foot as a signal to jump off as opposed to being pushed off. But even then, I think it's just a coincidence that someone walked behind her before she fell. I just don't see it adding up in a way that can convince me of this being true, so my honest answer is that Helen was, in fact, not pushed. But I'll be damned if I ever stop saying that she was. Justice for Helen.
It is the hardest competition yet, but my big brother life is on the line, so I'm staying on this plank for as long as it takes.
And there we go. Folks, we have only just tipped the iceberg so far, as there are quite a few more conspiracy theories out there. I've already got my eyes set on some of them though, so expect another round of theories to be examined at some point in the near future. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I of course need to give that extra special shout out to all of my YouTube members who are all in agreement that Helen actually was pushed. And, as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
You want me to teach you some ultimate fighting?
Ultimate fighting?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about a guy who can wrestle that I like.
It's actually hot in this room. Eric doesn't have any game with the chicks. I like blocking Eric when he decides to go for some personal time with Jess.
Oh, Eric. Oh, for the love of God.
He just taught me the clench. You better watch out.
The clench? What's the clench?
Ooh, I kind of like the clench. That's the clench?
Hello there. It's not part of the move.